This is it, the big one. Top 32, Mckeever versus Bagsy.
And here we go, no messing around, straight off the line and through the gears, and Mckeever already starts to pour on Bagsy as they fire through. Bagsy now takes that inside line, nice initiation. Bagsy jumps straight up onto the door. That top place qualifying run from Mckeever will be easy to chase around this circuit. Bagsy gets the transition time nicely as Mckeever now dives into this long outside zone. He opens the door for Bagsy. Bagsy creeps up into the door, a little waver from Mckeever there. Looks like he was going to hit the wall, but he avoided that contact. Bagsy sticks with him right through the centre of the circuit. Times the transition well now as Bagsy takes another bite, another dive onto the side. Mckeever into the wall, Bagsy into the wall. Both guys taking panels off the car as they come across the line.
Out of the championship race and will have to settle for third or fourth or whatever it may be in the championship. So he's got to beat Bagsy here, and Bagsy's put in a phenomenal chase run. The spotters will be on the radio saying, Duane, this is the time to go for it. You've got to go close, and he is going close. Big angle from Mckeever in the chase position here, but Bagsy looks like he's got a little shallow angle, but a little bit more pace. Mckeever's going to have to start making a move, and he does a phenomenal transition up onto the back bumper and gets into the pocket. Bagsy in that lead position doing nothing wrong at the moment. Look out, oh, but there's a mistake. Bagsy hits the wall a little too heavy, but gets away with it. Mckeever backs off, but now jumps back up into the pocket. Just pieces of tail light flying all over the track as they run over their own debris. And Mckeever just not quite having the proximity at the end, but Bagsy making a big error towards the end of the run. So that one's going to be close. It's a very, very close battle between these two guys. Mckeever's championship hopes are on the line. Let's see which way it goes. And he's still in the mix. Duane Mckeever gets the win. It goes final time in 2024. The top 16 is underway. Mckeever to lead in Rintonen.
Yeah, look at this, no messing around already. Look at Rintonen going for the straight line approach, jumps straight onto the rear quarter of Duane Mckeever. They both get into the outside zone, a little tussle onto the wall from both drivers, and now they start to pick up the throttle. They look for that transition, come through and down. Good transition back from Rintonen as Mckeever leads them into this long outside zone four. A little shallow line there from Rintonen. He's having to keep up with Mckeever. He's got the pace as they fire through the middle of the circuit. The pyro erupts, and now Rintonen makes a big dive, second to last outside zone. Time to make the move for Rintonen. Can he get onto the door? Of course he can. Dives once again, back bumper to the wall, across the line.
Throw it all the way. Let's see what happens. This game of chess continues as Rintonen will lead in Mckeever.
Yeah, look at this, the bumper already down on Mckeever's car as he pulled away from the line. They're messing around, a big flick from both guys. Look at Mckeever. It matches the initiation of Juha Rintonen both into the outside zone. It's a beautiful lead line so far from Juha Rintonen. We look for that transition on the wall. It's absolutely textbook. And Duane Mckeever deals with it. A little dab of the foot brake, sets himself up nicely now on the throttle. Mckeever starts to find the side of that GR86. They're into the wall, and it's an absolutely beautiful tit-for-tat battle at the moment as they come through the centre of the circuit. Good transition back. Mckeever cannot be lost as Rintonen slows down. Mckeever deals with it, and that is unbelievable driving from Duane Mckeever. He tags the side, and the rear wheel of Juha Rintonen.
Juha Rintonen. Rintonen doesn't put a foot wrong. Mckeever a little bit more aggression. And it's Duane Mckeever. Duane Mckeever gets the win and goes to the top 8, and I think pretty... And Mckeever will kick it off as he always does with a big old flick into that first corner.
Yeah, and here we go through the gears, no messing around, but look at this from Piscotty, straight onto the back bumper, down the inside he goes, and he matches the angle, but he carries a little bit too much, now loses some ground to Duane Mckeever as they come through that inside zone. They flick it back, and he's a little bit too shy, and he hits the wall as Kevin Piscotty makes big contact with the wall. He's going to try and reinitiate and get himself back into the fight. I think there could be damage on the car as Duane Mckeever carries on his run, continues to lead them around the circuit. Piscotty gets himself back into it. How he survived that one, I don't even know. They go for the wall, they look for that final outside zone, and onto the wall goes Duane Mckeever and across the line.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know, but with 50,000 people looking down, you go, oh, we can fix it in the off-season. We'll give it a go. So Piscotty's going to lead in Mckeever. We've don't know what condition Piscotty's car is, but he's going for it anyway.
Yeah, he's going to go for a big one here, and he flicks it in across the circuit now. Will Mckeever play it safe? Will he keep it clean? Will he just give him a good chase but not do too much? And I think that's what Duane Mckeever's going to go for as they fire through. Kevin Piscotty goes close to the wall once again. Now Mckeever starts to make a dive. He doesn't want to get left standing. He doesn't want Piscotty to run away with this one too much, although he has a massive advantage already. And Mckeever goes for the rear wheel. You could see Piscotty's car not 110% as he flicks through, looks for this outside zone. Duane Mckeever gives him some room to manoeuvre once again. They get into the wall. A little bop on the brakes there for Mckeever. He doesn't want to hit him too hard. Stamps his approval across the line, and both guys get a job done.
I was wondering, was Duane Mckeever just, losing it for himself there? But let's see which way the judges go. And it's the obvious decision. Going through to the top 4 is Duane Mckeever getting the win, going through to the top 4, and that big collision. Win this battle. Guaranteed first or second. Here we go. Mckeever revs it up, comes off the clutch. Wiańczek's with him. This one is going to be fireworks as the Irishman leads in Wiańczek into the first corner.
Yeah, look at this. Wiańczek does that signature move, that little dive down the inside onto the wall. They go into the pocket, but now Mckeever starts to drive away. Looks like he has a little bit of pace dialed into this car. Oh, a little wobble for Wiańczek as he avoids the wall. Now that signature dive once again into outside zone 4. He's glued to the side of Duane Mckeever, and Mckeever keeps it clean and off the wall as they fire through. They look for that touch and go, and they nail it. No mistake this time for Wiańczek. Super close, absolutely glued. A little tag onto the door, tag onto the wall for Mckeever. They both get into the final outside zone, wheel to wheel across the line.
Oh, because this is what it's all about. Wiańczek in the lead. Mckeever's car barely held together with hopes and dreams as they come down the straight. Mckeever goes for the big dive and makes it. Onto the door goes Duane Mckeever. Wiańczek goes to the wall, and here we go. Now the fight's on as Mckeever gets into the pocket. Wiańczek up to the wall, and a transition on the wall. Mckeever and Wiańczek perfect so far. Mckeever fires in, big angle from Wiańczek, but somehow Mckeever stays in it and on the door, and this is as close as it's going to get as they transition back. One more switch, and both make it through unscathed as they go back to the wall. Wiańczek perfect in the lead. Mckeever up onto the door, and this one is as close as it gets for a spot in the final. Take a bow, Peter Wiańczek and Duane Mckeever. The big one, the finale. Who is going to be in that final? And it's Duane Mckeever. Duane Mckeever goes to the final. He nearly jumps out of his own skin. Marcin gives the word. The last 2 runs of the night, the last 2 runs of the year. Mckeever to lead in Dean. Here we go.
No messing around for Duane Mckeever as he flicks that car across the circuit. Look at the straight line approach from James Dean. He already gets into it, but he gets into the wall, disposes of some body panels, and now hunts down the side of the Northern Irishman as they fire through. Dean goes for a brave transition. He goes for it. He looks for the side. Both guys touch the wall. There's a wobble on a waiver and some lost ground from James Dean as Mckeever stays rock steady. He now flicks the car across the circuit towards the wall. Dean shortcuts it, makes up that lost ground, looks for the side of that 180SX. The last outside zone approaches, and they're door to door.
This one is a huge, huge 50 seconds for both of them. James Dean in the leading position, Mckeever in the chase. Dean going big and wild at the start. Mckeever waits, and now Mckeever goes.
Yeah, Mckeever waits for him to get himself set up, now goes for it, now dives down, and James Dean perfectly on the outside zone, tickles the back bumper along the wall, but doesn't do too much. Now flicks through, front bumper onto the wall, a little moonwalk, a little back step for James Dean, but he's perfect on that line, and now that opens the door for Duane Mckeever as he glues that 180SX to the door the whole way around the outside zone. James Dean goes for it, he fires the car across the circuit and absolutely fires in does Duane Mckeever as he's wheel to wheel, bumper to bumper, both guys shredding, they fire on the angle across the line.